Hello beautiful people, welcome back to your Tribe Before You Buy channel. This is your host Karamullah Kadwani. I apologize for the delay in kind of getting back on track with my reviews, but inshallah I hope I'm here to stay. A lot of times you let other people sink in, you let the negativity kind of sink in, and some people just have it in them to get the worst out of you. It's okay. Uh, this is the world we live in. This is the life as is, come what may. You need to kind of not be affected by all the negativity and comments or kind of jealousies uh, coming from the people around you. You must hold your own, and for that it's very important to be at a good point of contact with the creator, whoever you believe the creator may be. Well, so much for getting the introduction done and giving you a reason as to why I might have been away for some time. I do apologize, as already stated. Hopefully a lot of reviews coming up this year, and hope it brings a lot of happiness and prosperity for us all watching this video today. Today I'll be reviewing a fragrance I hold very close to my heart, and was watching I was actually waiting on posting this review, as I didn't want to fall short of its stature. The perfume, as you might already know or might have seen, comes from my top favorite brands. Despite what some viewers might be telling you, you can't let a house overview make you stop from trying fragrances, or price points for that matter. I guess it is more of a dressed up formal way, for which I'm dressed up. But like we say, wear whatever you want, whenever you want, and by whoever. Perfumes do not have, or not should not have, gender bias. It can be worn by anyone at any time, at any point, any weather, any place they deem wearing the perfume. And so, however, I think it's a very dressed up fragrance and should be enjoyed by both men and women alike. Longevity on this, so I'll tell you a story. I always have a story to tell, and so my videos are these long format kind of videos that I like to do, because I like to communicate with you and give you a background of sometimes you wearing a fragrance might not exactly give you a proper idea of the longevity or the sillage, or unless someone compliments you. So this is exactly what happened. We were going out for a dinner, a formal event. I and my wife Noreen were going out for a dinner, and we dressed up, and I usually like spraying on perfumes for her. One of the other top choices, I may say, is Zerjoff Pico Via Dama. It's a beautiful fragrance, very opulent, very rich. This time, however, I asked her to try Perfumes PDLN3 from Roja Parfums, and I was wearing Perfume PDLN1 because that's, I mean, I like both the fragrances, but that's more, I guess, masculine leaning as compared to Perfumes PDLN3, which is quite neutral. Both parties may wear it. All the Perfume PDLN1, if a woman wants, can totally pull it off that way. So a neighbor came and she hugged Noreen, and she left, and we left for dinner. We came back, we kind of changed into our nightwear, and a couple of days later, about a week, maybe 5 days, she comes in again, and she's like, "What was the perfume you were wearing that day?" Bhabhi. Bhabhi means sister-in-law, and she considers me her brother, and I do consider her my younger sister. and she's a very mashallah cute, humble person. And so she says, "What perfume are you wearing?" And I told her, I said, "It's Roja Parfums PDLN3. What's the matter? You didn't like it?" And she said, "No, no, I loved it. I went to sleep wearing the same clothes that I hugged Bobby in. I woke up the next day, it was still there. We washed the clothes, it still remained." So I guess that speaks for the longevity on the perfume that we are talking about today. Uh, Projection is moderate. I wouldn't say it projects like beast mode, a term that we so often use in perfumery, at least to my nose. Sillage is massive though. The trail and the longevity is next to none. I shall also be telling you something about this fragrance no other reviewers have yet. So let me take this window to tell you a little about the Perfume Delanoë collection. They have three fragrances in this line. That's Perfume Delanoë 1, 2 and 3. Perfume Delanoë 1 being the predator, as Roger Dove has stated it to be, and is my favorite from the collection. Perfumes Delanoë 2 is the seducer and yet to acquire, so we will talk about this some other day. Perfumes Delanoë 3 is the exoticist. So I see a lot of people, reviewers, kind of maybe one or two genuine and the others just falling in the bandwagon, stating that they thought it was the exorcist, and that wouldn't have been a bad name though. But here's a little blurb from Roja on the collection. Here's what he says, yeah. So for all three perfumes, he calls them scents for seduction, and this blurb was posted by Roja himself on the 1st of February 2022. He says, "With the arrival of Valentine's Day comes the usual romantic imagery of flowers and chocolates. But here at Roja Perfumes, we know there is more to this holiday than meets the eye. Processed in the most primitive part of the brain, odors stimulate our synapses and release hormones which govern our body's reaction. Even without realizing what we are smelling, we become attracted to each other's pheromones and choice of fragrance because it is an unavoidable animal instinct. If you smell the right scent on someone, you'll subconsciously find them more attractive. This is how the perfume acts, like a silent accomplice. Something we wear to create a spark of attraction between us and another." So, follow below for our selection of seduction scents, which are guaranteed so as to say. Well, how I actually see this fragrance is addictive, and I'll tell you much later in the review why I actually feel it's addictive, but it is so addictive and cohesively smooth. Just like perfumes PDLN3, there's not a single note that will kind of take over the entire composition or stand out from another. It is Middle Eastern Oriental kind of a fragrance. I suppose you shouldn't be using the term Oriental anymore. Please do clear that for me, as I'm not sure why we shouldn't. Also, though it isn't mentioned in the notes breakdown, I'd like to think there's a note of Ciprio, just like perfume PDLN3, making you think it has oud. So the notes here are vetiver, vanilla is listed, cistus, labdanum, frankincense, cardamom, rose, saffron, patchouli, jasmine, bergamot, and cedar. Great collection of notes, and makes it sound somewhat similar to perfumes PDLN3. However, let's see if the experience comes off the same. Although vetiver is listed, it's not a vetiver forward fragrance, and though you have the woody earthy qualities of vetiver, it does not go damp. Rather a balancing act with sweet, resinous, ambery undertones, rose and saffron making it warm, spicy. Also lots of cardamom adding to the spiciness, spicy facets of this fragrance, and earthy qualities also accentuated by patchouli. Though the listing may seem to be much simpler than PDLN3, perfumes PDLN3, it wears rather complex. As we mentioned earlier, nothing jumps out, but rather smooth, sexy, and refined experience. The first time I acquired it, some time ago, I kept spraying it. Okay, so in here in Dubai, in the Middle East, we're used to beast mode fragrances. I'm sorry for using that terminology, but I could not find an appropriate word for, and so I was using these very heavy oud based, real oud, real animalics, etc. Perfumes that kind of numbed, I suppose, my senses. And the first time I acquired the fragrance, I really thought it wasn't doing much, but I kept spraying it over time, and I realized that it had somewhat a narcotic effect on me. It kind of calmed me down. The smell, I was able to smell more of the perfume the more I used it for the month that I did shower this fragrance with. I needed to use less and less every time I sprayed the perfume, but I'd like to spray it much more so often. Like I've mentioned earlier, it has kind of a narcotic effect. Super dressed up. Elegance and sophistication are the two adjectives to best describe this composition. Projection, if you ask me, the first 2 to 3 hours, it's massive. It otherwise goes down to an 8 out of 10 for me. Sillage is a 9 out of 10 for sure. Longevity is a 10 out of 10. Here's the dirty little secret I promised you though towards the start of this tremendously long video. Well, if you've fallen in love with perfumes PDLN3, if you tested it, if you own it, or if you tested it and you love perfumes PDLN3 but do not want to indulge into something so expensive, you may go with another brand, that's PDLN, number one, that retails for about half the price of perfumes PDLN3. Also, if you didn't already know or have been living under the rock like me, PDLN is a part of Roja Parfums, but the fragrances seem to be priced right. Also reminds me that we shall be doing a review of Great Britain by the House of Roja, which happens to be a Russian leather fragrance, the best, may I add, to say the least. Also retails for a pretty penny. Great Britain started with a price point of about 7,200 and still does about 3,800, if I'm not wrong, maybe 4,600 dirhams. And so that retails for a pretty penny, but you If you like Great Britain by Roja, the lesser expensive alternative from the house of PDLN, it is also again Roja Duff behind the fragrances is PDLN number 47. Staying on the subject though, you may want to acquire fragrance du Bois Secret Trist, which is a third of what the perfumes Delanoë would cost you. It retails for 1,585. However, a true fragrance connoisseur like myself, or I consider myself to be, I'd recommend having all three. Bourgeois comes in at a whopping. Oh, I'm sorry. However, for a true fragrance connoisseur, I'd recommend having all three, hands down. Please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment letting us know what you think about the review. Until the next time, your host signing out, Karamullah Kadwani. Thank you so much for taking the time out.